on the record. Just need to do a couple more tweaks and we'll be ready.
All right.
And we're ready.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March 10th, 2021 City Council regular meeting here at 345 High Street in Hamilton. We have two public hearings this evening. One involves reformatting our zoning ordinance. The other one is the expansion of the current Hamilton Community Authority. Roll call, please.
Pullman.
Present.
Fear.
Present.
Vaughn.
Present.
Ryan.
Here.
Nab.
Present.
Brown. Moeller.
Present. Okay, we'll start off with the offering of prayer by Councilmember Tim Nab, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you're able.
Lord, as we continue in our work of the city, please guide us in our decisions to make Hamilton a better place and more inviting place to live, work, and play. We're grateful to all of our frontline professionals and their dedicated support teams in keeping us safe. We are also thankful for all our city teams and volunteer resources being utilized in the continued efforts in distribution of COVID vaccines to our residents and those working within the city. Please bless all in the military in their mission and duty to our nation. We are honored and proud they do so. Lord, bless our families and loved ones, keeping them safe and from harm's way. We pray these petitions in your holy name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the special presentations. And first off is our COVID-19 update by Health Commissioner Kay Farrar.
Good evening, mayors, city council, members of the city, or citizens of the city of Hamilton. Wanted to give you an update where we're at as of today. So currently, there have been over 35,972 cases in Butler County. 1,101 have been hospitalized and 535 have died in Butler County as a result of COVID. In the city of Hamilton, we are at 5,227 cases. We're averaging about 50 per week. The last report was 90 per week, so we're definitely on a downward trend. The city of Hamilton has had 133 deaths, which from last week was an additional 7 in the last 2 weeks. That is a lagging measure. So, hopefully that continues to go down because some of those people contracted COVID longer ago. They're just hospitalized and not doing well. So I wanted to go over again who's eligible for the COVID-19 vaccination because the categories keep changing and we keep adding more people so that more people can be vaccinated. Most recently added eligibility persons are people with diabetes, type 1 or type 2, people with end-stage renal disease, individuals that are age 50 and over, pregnant people, bone marrow transplant recipients, people with ALS, child care service workers, funeral service workers, and law enforcement. Those are our new categories. The governor has set up regional mass vaccination clinics to help in this effort. There will be a total of 18 vaccination clinics. The closest one to our area is Cincinnati. Go to the next slide. So what the 18 regional sites are going to be, they're just a better way to widely push out vaccine in a very rapid way. Some of these places are working 7 days a week. It's an opportunity for people who work and can't otherwise get away from their jobs to get vaccinated. Their Cincinnati and Columbus hubs are going to go live next week. They will be offering Pfizer vaccine, and anyone who gets the first dose is guaranteed to get the second dose, so there's no fear there. The Cincinnati site is up on the screen, so it will be at the Cintas Center, and March 18th, 19th, and 20th from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. And then the second dose clinic will be on April the 8th, 9th, and 10th, also from 8:30 to 4:30. So this is a great opportunity, again, for people who work. Kroger's is part of the initiative, as well as the Health Collaborative, which is a group of hospitals in Southwest Ohio, and then the Hamilton County Public Health and Cincinnati Public Health. They'll be running this clinic. So people are still, I think, sometimes confused on how do I sign up to get a COVID-19 vaccination. The sign up can be one of several ways. One way is to sign up for that mass vaccination clinic that I just talked about. So if you go to www.ohio.coronavirus.gov, there's a blue banner across the top. One of them says COVID-19 vaccination program. When you click on that, you'll see where it's sign up for a regional vaccine. When you're signing up, it's going to ask what your eligibility is. Where do you fit in any of those categories? It's on an honor system. So if you're saying you're 50 and older, if you're saying you have end-stage renal disease, no one's going to ask you for medical records associated with that. You can also check the state site. So there is the Get Shot Now site, so that is that next line. And then our local way to get signed up, one of two ways. You can either go to our website, hamilton-oh.gov, and there's the picture of the health department staff on there that says, take the survey. The survey is the way you sign up, and basically they've added all the new categories. Once you take that survey, that you are enrolled and someone will contact you. We don't have a very large waiting list. We're basically at about 700 people. We're keeping up very well with people that are residents filling out that survey. So we're moving along very well. The other way is if you're challenged to find access to a computer, you can also just call the health department number 785-7080. You do have to leave a message. You'll be hooked up within a day of someone to help schedule you. They will help you fill out the form and the questionnaire and everything else. So to date, as far as our residents, we have vaccinated 3,717 residents. In the zip code of 45011, we've done 647. In 1-3, we've done 2620. And in 1-5, we've done 340. Those listing P.O. boxes or noting that they are homeless, like I've gone to Serve City and Haven House or one of them, and they don't give an address, there's 110 there. So by race, 114 have said that they're either American Indian or Native Alaskan. African Americans, 165, whites, 3,408, and Asians, 28, and Native Hawaiians, 2. Now, mind you, these are only our residents that we've vaccinated. Next slide. Who else have we vaccinated? So we vaccinated a good number that belonged to Group 1A, which included people who work here within the city of Hamilton that are either working medical workers, they're MRDD staff, assisted living residents, congregate living staff, and caretakers. Anyone else that I didn't mention that qualified in Group 1A. We did 1,644 people under that group. We have completed that group and done 2 vaccines in that group, so they are completely done. The school personnel that are working with kindergarten through 12, we've vaccinated 1,100. We have their second doses scheduled this Friday, both the Hamilton City Schools and the parochial schools. We've got 1,100 scheduled, and we're going to move them through. Tomorrow, we are doing just shy of 1,000 people are scheduled. So it'll be our biggest clinic yet, but we've been pushing through about 900 at each clinic, so we went a little bit above. Brandon and Colin have been working hard at that. So in total, we've administered 6,446 vaccinations since December 22nd. Please remember, a virus that's not replicating cannot form a variant. It's a very important message to keep out there. We have to keep working at this together. We're going to continue vaccinating as much as we can to the populations that we serve. We do have our first ever manufacturing plant. We're going to go to ThyssenKrupp-Bilstein on Tuesday and vaccinate. They're eligible people, not everyone, but the people who fit into those categories. We're probably going to, they think they've got about 200 that fit in all those categories. So when we have big numbers like that, we can go right to them, so not to interfere with their work schedules and be able to let them continue working, just come down, person by person. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Kay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, under special presentations, we have the Corwin Avenue project update by Dan Arthur.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I was invited by Mr. Smith and Mr. Moats to give a brief presentation on the Corwin Avenue Improvements Project, as well as a brief presentation on the odor issues that we had down in Corwin and where we're at with that project. This is just a vicinity map kind of showing the area. It's Corwin Avenue. The main portion of the construction is taking place between Freeman Avenue and Van Hook Avenue. But with the project, we are resurfacing from River Road to Morris Avenue. Currently, the purpose of the project started out as a sanitary sewer project only, but it has grown into include the other utilities as well due to their conditions. The problem with the project originally is you have a large diameter, a 36-inch line and a 12-inch line tying into an 18-inch line down that street. So it's been a problem for a while that we're trying to remedy. Where those tie in is at the intersection of Benninghofen Avenue and Corwin. There's a 10-foot drop inside of that manhole that causes odor issues and is the main culprit with what's going on with that. We're going to take that out with the project. The intent is to completely separate the residential flow from the industrial and commercial flow. The larger diameter pipe is the industrial and commercial flow. That's coming down from Hamilton Enterprise Park. It's also coming down from the Gilmore Pumping Station. So it takes that large industrial district out there and comes down the large main, and then on the 12-inch line, the residents are tied into that line. Then they all come into the one, Then they all tie into one for the remainder of the way down to Freeman Avenue. The intent is to completely separate the two. Also in the project area, the water main is 100 to 125-year-old cast iron pipes. We're going to remove that and replace it with new ductile iron pipe. And the storm leads and the storm catch basins are older as well, so we're going to be replacing those with the project. So it had grown from the original project where it was sanitary, now includes the other utilities that were bad in the area. As I had mentioned, we're going to be resurfacing from River Road over to Morris Road, and we'll be using the funds from the street levy for that. This slide is pulled from our GIS system. It looks a little bit cluttered because there's so many utilities out there in the street that we're doing this work in and putting the new main in. But I wanted to kind of leave that on there so you could see where the gas is and the water and all the other utilities that we're dealing with this project. The green lines coming in from the east side of the drawing show the two parallel lines that tie into the one manhole at Benninghofen and then go down the single 18-inch line to the west. This is just an example from the drawings. The consultant's almost complete with the design on this project. The blue line on the bottom of the plan view at the top is the new water main. The green line will be the separate domestic line for the residents to be tied into. That's the existing 18-inch line, and they're going to be on that one, but it'll only have the flow from the residential units instead of the industrial and commercial. And then the red line on the north side of the page there, that's the new large diameter sewer. It's going to convey the industrial and commercial separate. Currently, the plans and specifications for the 90% submittal have been in. Our team has reviewed those. We have a meeting set up for this Friday to go through those comments with the consultant. The intent is to have drawings complete by the end of this month and start advertising in April so we can hit the good bid period. Construction will begin on July 1st. We've received loan money on this project, so we have time frame where we can't start until July. They make you hold out with the OPWC money until then. Schedule for this project, we are anticipating 9 to 12 months on the turnaround on this job. It'll go into early part of 2022 because of the paving. You know, we have the resurfacing and everything like that, and the asphalt plants don't open back up until around March. Currently, the engineer's estimate for the project for all of the improvements is $3.5 million. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about the odor issues that we've been battling out there in Corwin Avenue that most of you are aware of. We've tried to attack it from multiple different directions. We installed some manhole odor eliminators at the actual manholes. They have these carbon filters on them to filter out some of the odor in those locations. We also installed sanitary vent stack filters on the top of those vents. Those last for a couple years, so those should get us well through the project before they need the filters changed out on that. And we've actually seen good results from both of these types of filters. They've made a difference. The other thing that we attacked it from was biologically, to add in some biochemicals and biological treatments to the actual wastewater to kind of combat it on that before it gets down there and starts the odor issues. We purchased some hydrogen sulfide monitors, installed those in 2 locations so we could kind of see what it was like after that drop that we discussed and what it was like when it first came out of the force main from the industrial area. On average, originally it was about 15 to 25 parts per million. In the fall, recently it's been lower, around 6 parts per million on the overall average. The intent, because as the weather warms up, the smells sort of increase, and so we recognize that. The intent is to also do another round of sampling with the industries like we did before, do some of that in the warmer months, maybe in the May, June time frame. We did the sampling last fall, but it was a little cooler then. And then we'll use that data to work with the biochemical and biological consultant to come up with a plan of attack to kind of keep the odors managed for this community until we can get the improvements complete. The outcome so far from the different ways that we've attacked this, we haven't received any additional complaints from the citizens in the area since we had the public meeting last September. And I've talked with several of the property owners in the area, and they have indicated that the smells have been more manageable and a lot better. But again, we recognize they may increase as we get towards the summer. Everyone out there has my card, so I want them to call me as soon as possible if they have any issues or notice any problems, and we've stayed in constant communication. Does anyone have any questions on this project?
First of all, thanks for being responsive to Lindenwold and making that contact so they know how to contact you with any kind of issues. And
Absolutely.
how frequently are you checking the hydrogen sulfide monitors?
We have to go out and download them, but they're in 24/7.
Okay.
So they're in the ground. Because of the atmosphere inside the manholes, you have to pull them out and they have to have a resting period where they breathe clean air. So they're in the ground for maybe 2-3 weeks, then you pull them out for about a week. But they're 24/7, so we can get captures over the weekend. We can get it throughout the night and everything.
Any questions at all?
Mr. Mayor,
Please.
Dan, so the work that's going to be done over the 9 to 12 months, how will that interrupt traffic, or What will that be like on that street? Is it periodic, close the street?
Yeah, the intent is to do it block by block as we're working in that area so that the whole length of Corwin isn't closed at one time. But we'll start on the west side of the project where you tie in with the, and work to the east. They'll install the new water main first. We have it all phased out on which things they do in each order and have put in there for them to work inside of a block so that it's not all disrupted, at one time.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
All right, you bet.
We now go to audience of citizens, and due to social distancing, we are working that by email. We asked that citizens email questions to our city clerk at city.clerk@hamilton-ohio.gov, and the clerk will read your comments into the record during an appropriate council meeting, and there will be an official city response. Any emails, Mr. City Clerk, at all?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Now go to the consent agenda. That includes all the meeting minutes, all staff reports, and caucus reports. Do not have a committee of the whole up and running yet. That brings us to the caucus agenda, which is item number 3 on the agenda, and 4. And City Clerk, do we have Liz Hayden to speak by Zoom tonight or open for any kind of questions?
I believe she's on a webinar right now. She should be connected to us. She can probably unmute her mic and try speaking through or connecting her audio.
Let's see what we need first. But just for purposes of the caucus agenda, I'd like to pull number 3 so that there can be a discussion at this time. Is there a motion that we pull number 3?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Nab, second by Councilmember Fear. Let's do a roll call vote on that, please. To poll number 3.
Holman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Okay, you please read number 3 into the record.
Recommendation relative to a request to change the zoning of all properties comprising the former Adams Elementary School in Beeler Park from R2 Single Family Residence to TN1 Traditional Neighborhood 1 zoning district.
All right, I'm sure everybody had a chance to go over that staff report and anything else that may have been sent out on that. First off, any questions for Liz right now, at this point in time? And Ed, you know about this too, is that correct, Mr. Wilson? Yes, sir. All right, so maybe you can answer my questions without having to get Liz involved, but we are voting on a recommendation based, well, the recommendation came from Planning Commission, right? Yes, sir. And that Planning Commission recommendation was to bring it to council and then make us aware that there is a request to change zoning, Adams Elementary School, and the Beeler Park area from R2 to the traditional neighborhood 1. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So we're not voting on any kind of a development plan or anything like that tonight?
Exactly, sir.
Okay. And maybe you can answer this, you probably can. The area around Adams School in Beeler Park, how has that been zoned?
Been advised to speak to the mic. I'm Ed Wilson. I'll be representing for the planning department. Yes, this is actually just a rezoning request to rezone the properties in question from R2, single-family residence, to TN1, which is traditional neighborhood 1. The zoning around the properties, which is the general Rossville area, that is mostly zoned R2, single-family residence. So nothing there is being addressed by this caucus item.
And I know we had a planning commission meeting on this item, and nothing we're voting on affects the current use or future use of Beeler Park.
Exactly. It would remain the same use.
All right. So this is simply a zoning change, not approving any kind of plan for the future of that area.
That's correct, sir.
I'm not sure if Liz could hear all that, but if she wants to add anything to that, she can. If she wants to.
I can hear, I'm not sure if you can hear me, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but I don't have anything to add to what Ed said.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I had just a question for clarity. Ed, it appears that, if you will, parcel is part of the historic district of Rossville, is that correct?
Yes, sir. They're part of the Rossville Historic District that was expanded in 2007.
Okay, and because of that, then any of the future opportunities that that site may present would have to also be in the confines of the agreement of that historic district, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Council. That would entail, with any historic district property or historic inventory property, any exterior changes, including any new development, needs to go before our city's Architectural Design Review Board, which has purview over historic properties and historic districts.
Okay, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
That's what I mentioned, if you want some interesting reading from 1919, the deed to Beeler Park, which is truly handwritten document, does say that it was a donation from the Beeler family, that the property described herein is conveyed to the grantee, the city, for its use for park and playground purposes, with the condition made that the grantees, that it be named Beeler Park for the future.
Yes, sir.
So that's what the deed says as far as donative intent.
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Was that part of the school? I mean, was that part of the playground, Beeler Park, or has it always been a separate park?
Right now, if you drive past it, maybe, I know some
Yeah.
did, it is not cordoned off, but it's got some fence posts along the edge of it, so the park is separate from the school.
there are
What
some-
used to be the school.
There are some cordon off posts at that property along the eastern line, which would actually separate it a little from the elementary. There's also an existing playground on site. That answers or clarifies the question.
Mr. Mayor, what I found interesting, as it was cordoned off, the playground area is set off a little bit more to the west, as you just shared, Ed, and then the green space certainly would allow for I'll call it playing areas. If there were kickball or volleyball or something that'd be appropriate in that space, it's quite large in a green space for families to be able to enjoy that park that is part of that community with the playground equipment that's set up by the Parks Conservancy and things. So it's really very nice and very welcoming. So glad we all had a chance to see that parcel and property.
It is a true playground and park, and I'm sure neighborhood appreciates it. And I'm sure over in the Adams School area, my old comb, and maybe a piece of gum that I chewed at one point in time is still there, but, you know, that's a school I went to, so I'm familiar with that area.
That comb must be from
I
last
haven't
year.
used it for a while, obviously. I lost it. What can I say? I lost it, you know? But, all right. Any more comments or questions for Ed, who I think made a good presentation to the Planning Commission on this, or Liz, who's on the webinar, whatever you want to call it right now?
So, Mr. Mayor, I have one other. So the owner of the property is not the city, so the owners weigh into this decision, or?
Yeah, they weigh in. The Adams Elementary is still owned by the Hamilton Board of Education, so we would be in contact with them, and they've also been able to weigh in on the proposed rezoning.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? All right. Is there a motion that council receive that recommendation regarding the zoning for Adams Elementary School in Beeler Park, and concur in that recommendation from the Planning Commission?
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Pullman, second by Councilmember Fear. Let's do a roll call vote on that, please.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan. Yes. Nab,
Yes.
Brown. Yes. Mueller.
Yes.
Motion adopted 7-0.
Okay. We now go to agenda item number 4. Just the only remaining one on the consent agenda, as far as the Caucus Agenda goes. Is there a motion that council receive that report and concur in the recommendations on that one involving Hub Maine LLC and their application for a new liquor permit?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nab, second by Councilmember Fear. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. We now go to the public hearing section of our meeting. Is there a motion the regular meeting be recessed and the public hearing take place?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Fear, second by Councilmember Ryan. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. It is 6:36. If you'll read the first public hearing in the record.
A public hearing regarding the zoning ordinance reformatting.
Anyone in the audience wish to be, anybody in the audience wish to be heard at all on that particular request, or actually public hearing on the reformatting of the zoning ordinance?
Mayor Mueller, there was nobody who signed the book, but
Right.
Mr. Ed Wilson is in the audience today with a special presentation regarding this reformatting.
Please start, and I'm sure we'll all be impressed, because it's an impressive reformat.
Thank you very much. I'm Ed Wilson. Again, I will be presenting a hopefully brief presentation on the proposed zoning ordinance reformatting for the city. We proposed, as the planning department, we took the better half of the 2020 year and the current 2021 year to really look at our city's zoning ordinance, to update it as well as make it more user-friendly. Okay, so that's the agenda item. It's a new zoning ordinance reformat. So basically, we took the existing zoning ordinance, text and all, and reformatted and simplified where we could in order to make it a much more user-friendly document, not just for existing businesses and citizens, but also any potential citizens and potential businesses that are looking at the city, to make it one-stop and a much better document to look for in the future. Our previous zoning ordinance, or our current zoning ordinance, excuse me, was adopted in 1971. And it's been reformatted and added to, amended over that near 50-year history. And that has resulted in quite a lot of text. There's a shape blocking the caption, but it's 1971, but it says 453 pages. So again, that's the cost of a zoning ordinance. It does get added to. Many times it is reactive. Cities have to adapt and adapt well in order to address the situations of the time. But now we're proposing a reformatted and condensed zoning ordinance. A lot of the content is still there, the uses are still there, it's just more condensed and simplified rather than repetitive and too bulky. And we also saw it as a starting point for even further improvements and reformattings of the zoning ordinance. So I would say that this is a major step, but it's just the beginning. So we propose that reforming that zoning ordinance. It incorporates user-friendly format. It's much more digitized. There are a lot of hyperlinks within the zoning ordinance. So now if there are terminologies or there are section numbers that are cross-references and even subsections, there are hyperlinks associated with that. So a user can click the item and go right to that item in question. As well as to help out the user, we added a page after our table of content to help people use the new proposed zoning form and ordinance. So they would have that guide as a one-page simple cheat sheet in order to address the ordinance itself, though most digital users will likely just go head on to what they want and get what they need. Also as part of this, we have extensive use of charts, primarily a zoning use chart. Now that zoning use chart is going to highlight all the uses known in the zoning ordinance and in the city. It's going to take those uses, put them in one usable chart, and list by zoning district so that a viewer could look at the chart, see what's permitted and what's conditional, and see if they can actually do that use or not. As part of the reformatting, we've also updated terminologies, definitions, and use categories since we were there. Again, just making sure that we are as up to date and as aligned with best practices in the planning and zoning field as possible. And number 4, again, consolidation, organization of information. We did reorganize a bit of the zoning ordinance so that it does flow much better for the user. So everything is grouped together better instead of certain chapters being scattered or thrown haphazardly together, if I can be honest. And again, it also minimizes any conflicts and reduces the size of the ordinance overall. The zoning ordinance reformatting has been planned and plotted. We've had public hearings at Planning Commission in late 2020. That includes both November 5th and November 19th, where we discussed the use chart as well as the consolidated chapters for our conditional uses and accessory uses. Now, conditional uses are more intense uses, are unrelated uses, and are heavy industrial uses. And as the current ordinance stands, those ordinance and those clauses are repeated most times in the ordinance, which leads to further bulk, which we'll get into soon. On the February 4th meeting, we presented again to Planning Commission, had a public hearing. The summary of the changes that are proposed were presented. They recommended that City Council move forward, hold a public hearing, and accept the changes. Cumulative zoning. Presently, our ordinance is cumulative, so any use that's in a previous chapter carries over into the next one. And we have an abundance of zoning districts, more than a dozen. So it can lead to repetition and sometimes conflicts with certain uses. So it's several conditional uses, several lines of conditions over several districts. So it adds up rather fast. That's how you get a 400, 500 page zoning ordinance there. So we decided to use the use chart and the conditional use list to help consolidate all of that. Use chart permitted chart. Again, it's our primary impetus for having it. Okay, and it serves as a one-stop area for the zoning ordinance. So basically, P means permitted use. That means somebody can just walk in, apply at the building permit department, and they'll get the zoning review, and they're fine. Conditional uses are the things that council sees, the recommendations from the planning commission. So those needs planning commission, city council. Specific use is a similar venue, but it stops at planning commission. And then finally, any accessory uses are marked as A, and that means that they're accessory to a main use, such as a shed or a garage, for instance, just making sure that that is also included in our use chart and specified properly. I don't know if you can see it as well, but that's actually what the zoning use chart looks like. It can also serve as a standalone document too, to be able to be pulled out of the zoning ordinance and actually offered to citizens, customers, and anybody interested. Go into detail there. The zoning districts, they're all on top there, lined up accordingly by use and by color. The land use entries are on the left, which shows what the land use is, agricultural, auto uses, and so forth. It's listed alphabetically for ease of organization. There are also shortcuts within the use chart itself so that people can actually get to certain uses immediately if they wish. And then on the right-hand side, you have the requirements. So with many of our uses, there are the requirements and conditions that I explained about. Those are actually there on the right with hyperlinks so that people can get right to them. As part of the reformatting of the zoning ordinance, we also reorganized. Primarily, we had the use chart front and center. We had our general ordinance provisions, that stays the same. We also had our development design standards. So that's basically our residential standards and our commercial design standards, so we get better products. And also with those, we did not change anything in terms of that, as well as many of the other chapters. That was more of the reorganization so that it's grouped together better for usability. After that, there are the zoning districts themselves, but they're now purpose statements only, basically highlighting the purpose of the zoning district, and they refer to the use chart so that people can find what use they want. Plan development is next. That's a specific kind of plan development proposal there. And then there's also special districts, overlays provisions, such as historic districts, those kind of special chapters like cell towers, those stay the same, but those were made more into its own special provision group. And then finally, with the administration, that's actually where we moved the glossary, which has the definition of terms for zoning ordinance. It was moved to the back so that the usability and the important parts that our citizens and our customers want are more up front in the zoning ordinance. Okay, the overview. Bless you. We reduced the zoning ordinance by 100 pages with this proposal. Again, it was 453 pages. We're now down to 312, and I think this is just the beginning. We can get even a more concise and more usable zoning ordinance that's really user-friendly. The use chart is a one-stop area. It can even be pulled out of the zoning ordinance and presented as its own document. We have the conditional uses and accessory use sections that highlight the conditions that are associated with the use in question. We also have the multiple hyperlinks throughout the document. So it's not just in the use chart, it's throughout the document. We also renumbered the ordinance itself. Typically with a zoning ordinance, it's a section number and then the subsection has a point, and then a subsection has a point. So you can end up with something like 1912.1.1.1.1. I believe that actually is in the current zoning ordinance as we speak. But now it's actually been boiled down a bit closer, so that's just the number and then one point if need be, or a letter if need be, and much more simplified. So this level of formatting, also, usually cities go out and get consultants to do this level of undertaking, but this was done in-house by staff throughout 2020, along with other work. Let's see. That's it for my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Edward, that's just all good, you know? I mean, customer service is so important, and that is customer friendly for our residents and our commercial citizens. And it was all done in-house.
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's great. That's all good. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Ed, congratulations. Bringing us current from a 50-year-old document, and there was nothing wrong with it then, there's probably nothing wrong with it now. But streamlining it, simplification, the glossary in the back, again, condensing what was a very viable and is a viable product into a product that's a little bit more user-friendly, easy to pull out, as you said, different areas of concern for different people at different times and things like that. So thanks to everybody on the team that pulled this together.
Indeed.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all.
Great.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak about this matter that you're aware of, Mr. City Clerk? Or
None that I'm aware of, Mr. Mayor.
anyone on council wish to make a comment or make a motion at this time?
Just wish I was here 20 years ago when I was adding on to my business. It'd been a lot easier. It's nice. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember
I
Fear?
move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Fear, second by Councilmember Ryan. All in favor to close that public hearing, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. It is 6:47. We have another public hearing this evening. Could we add into the record, please?
A public hearing regarding the Hamilton Community Authority.
Okay.
Let me rephrase it one more time. A public hearing regarding the expansion of the Hamilton Community Authority to include the Courtyard by Marriott located at 1 Riverfront Plaza, Hamilton, Ohio 45011.
Anyone in the audience wish to make a comment about this particular public hearing? And for the record, no one signed the book for the first public hearing, and no one signed the book for this public hearing as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to go backwards for a second for the record, as the audience of citizens. Mr. Lauderman did sign the book, but you're taking care of his issue. Is that correct?
Yes, I'll address that with him after the meeting, sir.
Great. Okay, there's no one else in the audience wishing to make any comments about this public hearing. Does anyone on council wish to make a comment or make a motion at this time?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Nab?
I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nab, seconded by Vice Mayor Pullman. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. Second public hearing is over with at 6:49. I'll accept the motion that the regular meeting be reconvened.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Brown, second by Councilmember Fear. Roll call vote to reconvene a regular meeting.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
You. We now go to council actions pertaining to legislative items, and I'll accept the motion.
Mayor,
Vice Mayor Pullman.
make a motion that, move that a note be made upon the minutes that each member of council was furnished a printed copy of each item of legislation prior to its being considered at this meeting.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Pullman, seconded by Councilmember Vaughn. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. We go to pending legislation, agenda item number 7, second reading of emergency ordinance.
An emergency ordinance amending and supplementing Schedule A of the classification and compensation plan of the City of Hamilton, Ohio, as set forth in emergency ordinance number EOR 2020-1-6, adopted January 15th, 2020, and as amended from time to time relative to salaries for certain city employees and repealing existing Schedule A as set forth in said ordinance. Second reading.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, second by Councilmember Fear. Any discussion or comments about this one? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. We go to agenda item number 8, second reading of emergency ordinance.
An emergency ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement and related actions related to certain real property located at 2255 Pleasant Avenue, Hamilton, Ohio, 45015. Ashley Barger, property owner, City of Hamilton applicant, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Nab.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nab, second by Councilmember Ryan. Any discussion or comments on this one? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Abstain.
Abstain. So that is 6-0 with one abstention, and that ordinance is adopted.
We now go to agenda item number 9, a second reading of emergency ordinance involving 2233 Pleasant Avenue and 2241 Pleasant Avenue.
An emergency ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement and related actions related to certain real property located at 2233 Pleasant Avenue and 2241 Pleasant Avenue, Hamilton, Ohio, 45015. Randy Barger, property owner, City of Hamilton, applicant, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
By Councilmember Vaughn, second by Vice Mayor Pullman. Discussion or comments on this one? Hearing none, roll call.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Abstain.
So that ordinance is adopted, 6-0 with one abstention.
We go to agenda item number 10, second reading, emergency ordinance involving 412 Main Street.
An emergency ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement and related actions related to certain real property located at 412 Main Street, Hamilton, Ohio, 45013, parcel P64100300055, Barefoot Holdings LLC, property owner, City of Hamilton applicant, second reading.
Mayor,
Vice Mayor Pullman.
make a motion that the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Pullman, second by Councilmember Ryan. Any discussion about this one? Roll call.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Go to agenda item number 11, second reading of emergency ordinance involving 2275 Pleasant Avenue.
An emergency ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement and related actions related to certain real property located at 2275 Pleasant Avenue, NBJJ LLC, property owner, City of Hamilton applicant, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Councilmember Fear. Questions or comments on this one? And for record, this is the Raymer Hardware Building, is that correct? No other questions or comments? Roll call vote?
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Here we go to agenda item number 12,
Take a big.
second reading of an ordinance involving our German Village neighborhood.
An ordinance amending the City of Hamilton zoning ordinance number 7503 by changing the zoning of all properties located within the German Village neighborhood that are zoned B3 Central Business zoning to BPD Business Plan Development zoning. Includes parcel numbers P6431012000043, P6431012000044, P6431012000045, P6431012000046, P6431012000047, P6431009000008, P6431009000065, P6431011000049, P6431012000058, P6431012000059, P6431012000060, P6431012000061, P6431012000063, P6431012000032, P6431012000038, P6431012000042, P6431012000041, P6431012000056.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you need to reread that.
Yes, you
Keep
do.
mixed.
4-1 instead of 4-0. One before 56.
Okay. P6431012000041.
So we have 4-0.
Yeah, we have maybe yard, maybe yard.
Mayor,
I read 4-0, but if you, I can read that again if you'd like. P6431012000040.
Thank you.
P6431012000056, P6431012000057, P6431012000052, P6431011000006, P6431011000008, P6431009000009, P6431009000010, P6431009000012, P6431009000014, P6431009000016, P6431009000017, P6431011000010, P6431011000012, P6431011000014, P6431011000017, P6431012000035, P6431012000041, P6431012000022, P6431012000062, P6431012000023, and P6431012000024. City of Hamilton applicant, second reading.
Okay.
take a drink.
That was 38 different parcels, I believe.
That's correct.
Nice job.
Is there a motion at this time?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Nab, second by Councilmember Fear. Questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor, I know we've commented in readings prior, when this was read 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I would really appreciate our administration looking at a consolidation of this. There has to be a way that we can apply all, I think you said 36?
That'd be 38, yeah. There's a lot of them.
We need to be able to consolidate this, that it's still legal, but still makes sense to those interested parties, but it shortens down the risk of a misnumber or something like that, as we found halfway through this process. So again, if that can be looked at conveniently, so we don't struggle through this again. And we've talked about this for years, so.
Councilmember Nab, I've been consulting with the law director on a way that we could proceed with this and hopefully consolidate the numbers
Good.
during our readings. I would be very much in favor of that.
I think that gives you motivation, doesn't it? Well,
The sweat on the brow will disappear.
our law director wants to make a comment, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we looked at this, prior to this year. And so the change that we had made with the planning department before was just, if it is consecutive numbers, we just do parcel number XYZ through this. And so we just need to work to get that re-implemented. So we'll get that done.
Thanks, Letitia.
Consecutive numbers, we can do it in a much more abbreviated and legal way.
And I think for significance for the tracking, I think the clerk's office and other offices like to keep the parcel numbers on the title, so as a way to track those. And so that consecutive numbering allows for that record keeping, and then also for truncating for council purposes. So it should be fine.
Great. All right.
So we have a motion and a second.
Yep.
So we have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir.
Pullman?
Yes.
Fear?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Nab?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Moeller?
Yes.
Or it's adopted, 7-0.
Let me go to new legislation, agenda item number 13, first reading of emergency ordinance regarding Main Street Apartments LLC.
An emergency ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute an amendment to the development agreement, property conveyances, and related actions with Main Street Hamilton Apartments LLC regarding parcel numbers P64110030000040 and P641100300041 located at 320 Main Street, first reading. Mayor, I'd like to also mention to the record that exhibits for this agreement have also been included in your packets for tonight as well.
Yes. Thank you. That brings us to agenda item number 14, which is a first reading of an emergency ordinance involving Hamilton Community Authority.
An emergency ordinance pledging certain non-tax revenues to the city, to Hamilton Community Authority to create and retain jobs and employment opportunities and improve economic welfare of the city in accordance with the tax increment financing and cooperative agreement, authorizing amendments to that cooperative agreement and declaring an emergency, first reading.
We go to agenda item number 15, first reading of emergency ordinance on conveyance of property to court.
An emergency ordinance approving the conveyance of certain real property to the Consortium for Ongoing Reinvestment Efforts, Core, 412 Main Street, Hamilton, Ohio, 45013, first reading.
Agenda item number 16, first reading of an ordinance involving sale and development agreement.
An emergency ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a sale and development agreement, property conveyances, and related actions to Wildfire Creative LLC regarding parcel number P642100200032, first reading.
Thank you. Go to agenda item number 18, which is a resolution involving a C2 liquor permit. Let's see, Bubbles.
Mayor, can I read item 17 first?
Read.
We just went over 16.
Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped over. My bad.
That's quite right.
17, my fault. I apologize.
Item 17 is an ordinance amending certain sections of the zoning ordinance number 7503 related to reformatting the city zoning ordinance, including the addition of a permitted zoning use chart and other revisions pertaining to a new digital format, City of Hamilton applicant, first reading.
We go to agenda item number 18, which is a resolution involving that liquor permit, 625 South Erie Boulevard.
A resolution objecting to the application for a C2 liquor permit from Cincy Bubbles LLC at 625 South Erie Boulevard, Hamilton, Ohio, 45011, and directing the city clerk to request a hearing to determine whether such liquor permit request shall be denied. And Mayor, I just wanted to also clarify for tonight that I've talked to the city health department, and they reached out to the state liquor board.
Yes.
And based off of the intent of the applicant, they're trying to operate it almost like a food truck that would be catering to events like weddings. It appears that based off of the license they've applied for, it's not actually the correct license. So I just wanted to read this email from the state into the record.
Sure.
It's that Cincy Bubbles LLC has applied for a carry-out in original sealed containers permit C1 and C2. The C1 beer only is a non-opening status as under the quota system herein there are no C1 permits available in Hamilton, and C2, wine and low-proof mixed beverages, is in process. So this may have been a mistake from the applicant, but we still have to object to this permit.
All right, our next one, 19.
Oh, Mayor, we still need a
We need,
motion in a second.
That's right, I was looking at the
Mr.
order
Mayor.
agenda.
Mr.
Is there a
Mayor,
motion? Boy, it's been a tough 17, 18 thing.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Pullman, seconded by Councilmember Fear. Any questions or comments about number 18, the resolution? Hearing none, roll call.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Brown. Moeller.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
We now go to agenda item number 19, which is a resolution involving another objection, I believe, to an application for a liquor permit.
A resolution objecting to the application for a D2 and D3 liquor permit from Taquera Los Compadres at 2780 Dixie Highway, Hamilton, Ohio, 45015, and directing the city clerk to request a hearing to determine whether such liquor permit request shall be denied.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Nab.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Councilmember Nab, seconded by Councilmember Brown. Questions, comments on this one? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
Thank you. We go to agenda item number 20, which is a resolution approving the expansion of the Hamilton Community Authority.
A resolution approving the expansion of the Hamilton Community Authority. And Mayor, I just wanted to make sure that we have this legislation up on the monitors before a vote is made. That way you can properly receive this legislation. So just to be clear, this is a resolution approving the expansion of the Hamilton Community Authority. This is a resolution that's being voted on tonight.
The record reflect that the resolution is on the screen at this point in time.
So would you like me to read that into the record one more time, sir?
Yes, why don't you please?
A resolution approving the expansion of the Hamilton Community Authority.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Fear.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Fear, second by Councilmember Ryan. Questions about this resolution? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Pullman,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Moeller.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
Okay. Audience, the city manager.
I have nothing, sir.
Okay. Audience, the city council,
Mr. Mayor,
please.
I'd like to just announce the, thank you, the 17-strong, whoops,
Gotta be careful. That's not it.
oh, there we go. All right, I'd like to announce.
I'm going to explain the other one in just a minute. This is a lot better, though. But
Sorry. All right. The 17-strong micro grants are now available for the annual grants. And so the micro grants are for neighborhoods to apply. It can be an individual or a group within a neighborhood that can apply for funding for programs, projects, events that promote engagement within the neighborhood, beautification, or improve safety, or all of the above. So what's going across the screen are just examples in the past of what has been done. And, German Village, it showed the purchase of banners, a newsletter that was developed in Prospect Hill, a mentoring program that involved a lot of children. There are great photos of this. And so we really encourage, 17 Strong encourages anyone that's interested in doing more for their neighborhood and for the city to apply for one of the grants. The funding, again, is available. We have ambassadors that will help develop the grant. So if you have an idea, you want to do something to promote, to help, to beautify, make your neighborhood more safe, please apply for one of the grants. The last one there is the Art Space Community Garden, which I think a lot of people have seen in downtown Hamilton. So a lot of times you see these things, but you don't know where they came from. thanks to 17 Strong in the city of Hamilton. And this is where information is how to apply for the micro grants. So I would really encourage anyone who's interested to please do so by April the 15th. Thank you.
I want to mention real quick that I look forward to the time that we can have that gathering again at Miami University Hamilton, where all of the grants winners are acknowledged. That's a really fun event. Talking about fun events, there's some comic relief here. Last past week, there was like an 80s weeks thing going on at 3 particular locations, Casual Pint, Municipal Brew Works, and Pinball Garage. Without knowing it, I walked in there, to Pinball Garage, not knowing it was 80s week. I was wearing 80s clothes. I fit in pretty well. But each night, I think last week at those 3 places, people dressed up. And it happens to be Scott Smallwood and his wife, Don Johnson on the far left, okay? Guns N' Roses on the far right. And I think, I'll check the other 2 pictures. I think that's Motley Crue on the far left, and then the professor from the Back to the Future movie on the far right. But it wasn't just Scott Smallwood dressing up. It was a lot of folks dressing up, even from out of town. And it was just good to see the places crowded to a degree, but it was well done, smartly done. And trying to get into any place on Saturday night was tough around this city. I walked past Casual Pine. We couldn't even go in. There's a guy dressed in a Devo outfit. Remember Devo from the 1980s?
Oh, yeah.
For the love of God, there was a person dressed like Devo, and he was enjoying himself. But it was definitely 80s week for those 3 places. And it's just an example of how people can get together and do things. And like I said, there were quite a few people dressed up in all kinds of various wigs, usually with long hair. But that was just a fun thing that went on that those 3 particular bar restaurants got together and did. And anything else for our audience of City Council? Okay. Executive session?
Yes, Mayor, I'm requesting an executive session for 3 different items. The first is to consider confidential information related to personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance. The second is to consider the purchase of property for public purposes if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair, competitive, or bargaining advantage. And finally, to confer with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
Okay. First off, regarding the economic development, is there a motion that we find executive session to be necessary to protect the interests of the applicant for the possible investment or expenditure of public funds which are made in connection with the economic development project?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Pullman, seconded by Councilmember Fear. Roll call vote on that, please.
Pullman?
Yes.
Fear?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Nab?
Yes?
Brown? Moeller?
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
We have a motion to go into executive session for those 3 stated purposes by the city manager.
So moved.
Councilmember
Second.
Nab made a motion, seconded by Councilmember Vaughn. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Pullman?
Yes.
Fear?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Nab?
Yes?
Ryan? Excuse me.
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Moeller?
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Okay.
It's been a rough night.
Executive session, we're going into it at 7:13, upstairs or downstairs?
Apparently, for the first topic, we have several people here to more than I was expecting. I would like to do the first part of it here
Okay.
and the rest of it upstairs, if that's okay.
Okay, so executive session starts at approximately 7:13. Now executive session only to adjourn the meeting. There'll be no other public business at this time proceeding.